You guys, Sesma coming at you here with another deck profile, and today I'll be showcasing you guys my 6 Samurai deck. This is actually my younger brother's deck. He actually has played this deck for over a year. This is his favorite deck. I mean, we started playing a year ago, but he found this archetype and he really enjoyed it. He likes the special summons. He likes the way the 6 Samurai look. He just likes the way the deck plays. This is the only deck he plays. So he knows how to play it very well, and I've played him enough times to understand how he plays it and what he likes to do with his deck. So let's get into the deck. I triple Kazan because he special summons himself if you control another 6 Samurai monster, and he gains 300 attack if you control 2 or more. So he's basically at 2100, and if you control any other Samurai, just special summon him. And there you go, free C, because if you have 6 Samurais in your graveyard, you can banish them to bounce back a card and you can bounce back a monster to your opponent's hand. And this isn't a once per turn, so if you have multiple 6 Samurais in the grave, you can continue to bounce back monsters from your opponent's field to their hand. Triple Kageki because he's your normal summon for the deck. Well, one of the few that the deck actually utilizes, one of the few normal summons that the deck actually uses. And he lets you special summon a level 4 or lower 6 Samurai monster from your hand, which is basically all of the ones you run. So you normal summon him, and if his effect goes through, you get to special summon 4 or lower, which is basically Kizan. If you have another Kizan in hand, you can special summon him, or you can go Anishi or any of the other 6 Samurais that I run. And he's basically who you use to make Shin if you have Kagemusha in hand. So you basically go him, Kagemusha, go into Shin. You have Kagemusha, which is the only 6 Samurai tuner in the deck besides Shi and Squire, but you don't really want to run him because he's a level 1, so you could only use any of the level 4s in him, and he doesn't count as a 6 Samurai monster, so you can get Kizan's effect off of that. But he offers a protection effect when you're targeting only one 6 Samurai monster trap. It can just target him, so he's basically like a protect Shin or protect 6 Samurai card if you don't use him to synchro summon, which most of the time that's what you will be using him for. Besides, he has great defense at 18. Next, you play 2 Elder of the 6 Samurai. This is a good card going second because what you can do is if you go second, he special summons himself if your opponent controls a monster. He's already level 3, so you basically need a Kagemusha, or for example, you can have a Kageki in hand, normal summon Kageki. You can make a rank 3, or you can link by using Kageki's effect and summoning another Samurai monster from your hand. So the deck special summons a lot, if you guys are noticing. That's the common trend. Next, the big 6 Samurais I like to play. The big guys are Grandmaster, because if you control one 6 Samurai, you can special summon him. Chancellor's a special summon by banishing 2 6 Samurai monsters from your grave, plus each turn he gets to target a card and destroy it. So, well, one monster and destroy it. But he just can't declare an attack. Being 2200, that isn't good. If he was Earth, I think he would have worked really well with Mrs. Radiant. So that would have been pretty cool. He would have been 27. But he's overall, Anishi's pretty good, somewhat monster removal, because he just targets and removes them. Next, you have Great Shogun Shien, which is as long as you control 2 or more 6 Samurais, which most of the time you're special summoning so much you will. You just special summon him, and if they don't destroy him, your opponent is only limited to 1 spell or trap per turn. So, pretty good. And Grandmaster's a free special summon, plus he's a Mrs. Radiant. He gets the boost from Mrs. Radiant, so he'll go up to 26. And these are the 3 I like to play because they special summon themselves. And most of the time, if you make a Shien, you can and you have him in hand, you can just banish him, and there you go. Trap, so he plays 2 Ash Blossoms, self-explanatory there. Stops you from getting a card, stops you from special summoning from the deck, and stops from sending a card from the deck to the graveyard. Ash Blossom is a really good card coming into this format. It can stop a lot of things, terraforming. Next, 2 Effect Veilers, pretty self-explanatory, stop monster effects. And the last 2 are Maxi and Ghost Ogre. Maxi being very powerful because the amount of special summoning that decks do nowadays, and this deck really doesn't have that much draw power. It does have search power, but it really doesn't draw as much. So Maxi there, and 1 Ghost Ogre. 1 Gateway. Now, I never really understood how broken this card was because I never played against it. But my brother always told me if this card comes back, the deck will be a tad a bit better. And the first time I saw him play it on somebody, I said, oh crap, this is what Gateway does. So what Gateway really does is, since none of the effects are limited to once per turn, you can constantly abuse it. And what he normally does with it, if he gets it, is so most of the time you, like I said, you will be special summoning 6 samurai monsters. So if you have if you have 2 counters on this, you can boost the monster's attack by 500. If you have 4 counters on this, you can special summon a 6 samurai monster from your deck or graveyard. For example, that'd be Kizan, and once you special summon him, you get 2 more counters on this. So if you use 4, you summon your Kizan or whichever level 4 or any of the 6 samurais in your deck or graveyard, and it goes back to 2. So for example, if you have another Kizan in hand, special summon that Kizan and it goes to 4. Use those 4, get another Kizan, and now you have 3 Kizans or maybe an Anishi in your graveyard, and you can constantly abuse this card. I wish this card came back at 2 because 6 Samurai like, he really wants to draw this. This is a card should be at 2 because I mean you can Ghost Ogre it, you can Mystical Space Typhoon it. There's ways to get over it, but most of the times if he does draw this card and if he has the right cards in hand, you can pretty much do some crazy things with Gateway. Plays Tushian's Dojo because, like I said, since the deck is special summoning a lot, it gets 1 counter for each normal or special summon samurai, which most of the time if you have it, you can play both, and you can, for example, summon Kageki, and let's say you don't have a target but you have a Kazan, Go Kazan, it has 2, you can pop it and get a Kagamusha, then synchro summon, use this one, now you have 3 on this one, and you can maybe get like another Kageki, and then from there keep going. So that you can do some pretty cool things with Shiin's Dojo. Continues the summoning. Next you have your Searcher in the deck, which is kind of a limited Searcher in my ability, because it limits you to level 3 or lower 6 samurai monsters from your deck to your hand. So I don't understand that. I mean, Dinos have Fossil Dig, which lets them get from level 6. So I don't understand why we can't. For example, it could be level 4, and I think it'd be much better because you can search, for example, Kizans or Yachis or any of the other 6 samurais you can use, and this would make it so much better. The next triple aestheticism, because I mean, if you guys have picked up on it already, most of the ones that he runs do have the same attack. So for example, you could aestheticism into Kizan and get yourself a Grandmaster. You could aestheticism into Kagamusha and get yourself an Elder. So aestheticism is a really good card, plus it's not limited to once per turn. But what I would have to say is you'll only use this if you're going to go into a Synchro or a Link play or something like that. So triple aestheticism. 3 6 Samurai United. Now this is the only part of the deck that isn't hollow for him, but he's looking to get the 6 Samurai United. They're just unfortunately very expensive. I mean, he's a freshman in high school, so $30 for a card isn't something that he's gonna pay. Pretty United. For each 6 Samurai monster that is normal or special summon, you can place 1 Bushido counter on it, then you destroy it and draw that many cards. The max is 2, so for example, you special summon 2, you pop this, you draw 2. It's actually a really good card because the deck normal and special summons so much, you get to, it's basically a free draw card. Pot of Greed, not really, but yeah, for the deck it works very well. Next, 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Now I wish this was at 2 or 3. I wish it was at 2. That way you can, since all the monsters are warriors, you get to search them. I mean, like I said, other decks have their searchers. You know, warriors need theirs, samurais need theirs. If this was at 2, the deck could be a little bit better. 1 Upstart and 1 Pot of Desires. Now the reason he plays 1 Upstart and 1 Pot of Desires is because you somewhat go neg 9 with Pot of Desires, but not really, because you're not giving anything up from your hand except Pot of Desires. So you basically get a +1. You get 2 cards. Now the reason you play 1 is because you don't want to draw another Pot of Desires, because that limits you on the options you have and what you can do. For example, if you use Pot of Desires and you draw another, like 1 Pot of Desires and another card, then there was more you could have done if you didn't have that Pot of Desires. For example, if you get a Pot of Desires, you can get the Upstart Goblin, you get another draw, and it just goes deeper into the deck and things you might need. So I don't really recommend ever playing Pot of Desires at 2 or 3, because if you draw it, then it's just a dead card in your hand. 1 Regeki, board wipes, very important. 2 strikes and 1 Scolding. The strikes are pretty self-explanatory. You can stop a special summon or an effect. And Scolding, the reason he doesn't play Warning is he feels that the deck itself you could already negate spells and traps, but if needed, you can negate a special summon, you can negate, it just negates much more. It does give up 3,000 life points, but he personally thinks that it's better than Warning. in my opinion, I think Warning's better, but this is his deck. He plays it to the extra deck. So this is a Xian token. He plays double Xian. He doesn't really want, like, he doesn't play 3 because you don't really go into 3. And with Litho Sagem gone, you don't really need 3. You most of the time will only go into 2, if not 1. Double Naturia Beast because most of the monsters are Earth, and you can keep negating as long as you keep milling, like giving you the chances to keep sending cards up to your hand with a Nishi if you have them. So that's good. Plus Chancellor Landois, because if you send a spell card from your hand to the grave, negate effects of monsters and destroy them, and negates traps. He often goes into more Naturia Beast than any of these two, but he does often go into Landois and Barkion. Barkion would be, for example, Kagamusha and Kizan, and to make Landois, all you need is again Kagamusha and Grandmaster. And most of the time, the deck does run so many spells, so you can negate monster effects and you can negate Starlight, for the reason that he destroys all special summon monsters and does some really good burn damage. Plus, he's a level 8, pretty easy to take out. Goyo Guardian, because again, all of them are Earth, so you can pretty easily if needed. And you can, his effect is pretty cool. It takes monsters. Shadow, Xian, and Excalibur, because if you make him with 2 Kizans and you have a Kageki on field, Kageki basically becomes 3,500, and Excalibur is pretty much a cheaper Utopia the Lightning. He doesn't get 5,000, but he goes to 4,000, which is still pretty beefy. So Excalibur and Xian. For the links, you only play 2 Mrs. Radiant and 1 Deco Talker, for the reason that all of them again are Earth, and Kizan, Grandmaster, and all of the other Earth Samurais gain the boost for Mrs. Radiant, plus Deco Talker. So guys, that's my brother's 6 Samurai deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's any card you'd switch, anything you think that could work better. Leave it down in the comments. I do read them. I'm trying to again, so if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Some constructive criticism is always welcome. Let me know what I can do, what I should do to make the quality of these videos much more enjoyable for you guys. I'm trying to constantly upload every Wednesday, so just to get this YugiTube thing going, deck profiles. I'll soon have discussions. I have friends that I'm planning on doing discussions with. I'm going to the LA Regional this Saturday, so I'm really excited for that. I'm gonna be filming and I'm gonna do my analysis after everything, because I don't know if I think Circuit Break does come out this weekend, so I think we might get those packets. I'm not sure, but if we do, I'll unpack and show you guys. But thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. My name is Sesma, and I'm out.